So for those who don't know, you're the singer in a band called Hellion Rising.
Indeed, yes, I know.
I thought we better get to that point before we... we go, who is this guy?
Hello if you know me. Hello if you don't as well.
But how long have you been in that band? Have you been in since the beginning?
It's, yeah, it's been 4.5 years now.
Is that how old the band is then?
Yeah, it's 5 years, beginning of next year. It's flown over, really.
The only lineup change I can remember is the drummer.
Yeah, Chris left, and then we got Adam in to play drums. And
actually, I remember, was his first gig like a last minute thing?
Yeah, it was
at the Brickyard.
Yeah,
and I remember because what did he have, like one rehearsal with you or something, or
he
two?
He had 1 hour rehearsal a day before the show,
and he played a half-an-hour set.
He played a half-hour set.
And he obviously he made the odd mistake, but he got through all the songs.
It was a miracle. It was like a Rocky movie or something.
Yeah, and I was just like. But he also obviously, like I said, he did make the odd mistake, but he looked like he was quite relaxed and he was enjoying himself. Which most people would have been like, oh, fucking hell, I better not make a mistake.
Thumping away.
But he was just like, same as he is now, just so relaxed.
Yeah. We told him before, like, we went on, we just said, whatever happens out there, good, bad, it's like, really, it's just the fact we've shown up, you know what I mean? It's kind of a win-win.
Most bands wouldn't have made it to that, considering the situation.
I know, it seems to have happened a few times with this as well, where somebody's ill or...
But that was the best audition he could have had for the band, wasn't it?
Yeah. He saved our skin. So I'll always be grateful for that.
So because the rest of the band's all over in Newcastle, aren't they?
Everyone lives in Newcastle,
and
except me.
And you're in Carlisle. So
I live in Carlisle.
So how did that come about?
How did that come about?
Yeah.
Well, I tried being in bands in Carlisle for 5-6 years, since I was 15, and everything would just massively implode on itself. I couldn't find people who were as into it as me, didn't want to kind of try and go all the way or be dedicated to it.
Yeah.
And I didn't do anything for about 1.5 years from when I was about 20 until I was like 21 or something. And I was living with my brother at the time, and I remember I was just sat in the room one night. I was like, you know what? Fuck it. I need to try and get something sorted, and like I'm just gonna look further afield.
Yeah.
So I went on joinmyband.com of all things, right?
That's how the original lineup of us got started as well.
Weird, eh? Yeah. I wonder if that's like the way most bands get together now.
I wonder. People can say what they want about it, but it works.
It does work.
If you put yourself out there and the right people are looking, they'll find you.
It works. So try it.
It does.
So I applied for 2 bands initially. The first one I applied for was a thrash band in Sunderland, and I believe they were called Virus. And there was a few messages, and they said, yeah, we're totally interested. They said, have you got any demos? Could you send us a demo of you singing? And I'd been in a thrash band in Carlisle with my brother called Son of Idol.
All right.
So I sent them this demo, and I didn't hear a fucking thing back. Like, zip, I'm like, did you get it? Is it still on? So I take it they didn't like it. They thought it was shit, whatever. So, and then the second one was in Newcastle, and it was Davey. And I hadn't met Davey before this, and it was this guy who was big into Bon Jovi and Led Zeppelin and stuff.
Yeah.
And I just thought, it's different to what I do or what I did at that point.
What kind of band were you ideally looking
I'd always been
in
thrash bands.
Right.
I always did thrash, like Anthrax, Testament, Slayer, that kind of stuff. But then I like Stone Temple Pilots, you know what I mean? And then I'd read this thing, and Davey wanted to do like groove stuff, like like Alice in Chains and and like Down, and I just jumped at it.
It's funny because I couldn't imagine you doing heavier, thrashier stuff now. I totally you seem to fit that band totally.
Thank you very much.
It's a good fit.
That was like my bread and butter, in that sense. It's all I knew. Thrash was all I knew.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So what sort of category would Hellion Rising be put in? How would someone describe you? Genre-wise,
a lot of people think we're stoner groove.
I'd say groove metal.
We're saying that groove kind of thing.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think we're definitely in that groove thing, but I think we've got like hard rock elements in there as well.
Yeah, definitely.
There's some elements of traditional heavy metal as well.
It's a shame everyone wants to categorize everything so much, though, isn't it?
It is a shame because you get put in
it's
like
metal at the end of the day,
like a pigeonhole.
Yeah,
and you can't expand because everybody wants the same thing every time.
Plus, at what point did it become a million subgenres? When did that happen? Like doom metal, death metal, black metal,
Crust
grindcore.
Yeah, it goes on, doesn't it?
Like where'd that come from?
I think it's down to just, I don't know, maybe elitism. I don't know if it's
It just seemed to
partially
separate.
that,
It just seemed to separate us all,
Yeah.
rather than bring us together. Rather than just being the umbrella of heavy metal.
What do you think of elitism? Do you?
I think it exists.
Yeah, it definitely exists. Definitely exists.
I just try and ignore it.
Yeah.
If people are like that, I just would rather not associate with them.
Yeah.
If you've got to do a gig with them, fair enough. But
Mhm.
I'd rather just. I try and keep a list of people who I like working with, bands that I like working with, managers, venues.
You always
Just-
remember the shit ones, don't you? The ones
Yeah.
who try and fuck you over.
But so do they. Like good managers or good venue owners.
Mhm.
They have a list. They obviously know people who they'll strike off if they weren't professional or late
Mhm.
or not very good.
Yeah. You got to
So-
do that.
I think you've got to surround yourself with people who you not only are good but you can trust.
Uh-huh.
Because I think there's not many of them about.
That's what Arnold Schwarzenegger always said, didn't he? He say, surround yourself with good people and you'll have a good life.
I think it's true.
It is true.
Was that an Arnie quote? Was it?
That was Arnie.
Was that in a film or was that like
I
a
think that was-
governmental?
I think that
was
was-
it a governmental speech?
I think that was just real life.
Wow.
I think it was just like an interview. He said something. Like
Governor Schwarzenegger, was it?
maybe
when he was the
part of his political campaign.
yeah.
You know, it worked though.
Yeah.
He got in.
And that's true. That what he
I
said.
always love this story about him when you know, Arnie's a cigar smoker.
Yeah.
And you know, when he got into office, you know, he got given, you know, the house, you know, whatever in Florida, and the rule in the house was you can't smoke cigars, stogies in the house. You know what I mean?
Right.
So he just built this fucking giant tent outside this, you know, this political house, and then moved his office in there. He's like, "What you going to do? You can't do anything about it now. Sit there and smoke all day."
That's a good impression. That. Who is your daddy and what does he do? Stop your whining. We could spend an hour doing Arnie quotes.
You could, couldn't you?
So then you've had the same lineup, and yeah, that first gig.
We've had a few
something
bass
special.
players as well. This is bass player number 3 now.
Who was the bass player before Kieran?
It was Sean Benham, who was the bass player.
How long's Kieran been in the band now?
Kieran has been in the band for 2 years, I believe now.
I don't know what that says about your old bass player, but I can't remember him.
Really?
I don't mean that disrespectfully, but
No. Benham was, you know, things didn't end well with Benham, you know what I mean? But I don't hold a gripe.
no.
You know,
No.
life's too short, and he made some mistakes, you know, and for me, the olive branch is there, you know. I know
Yeah.
he fucked up in a lot of ways, but, you know, I know some people won't forgive him, and that's fair dues, but it was just a case of, well, there's a lot of things, but, you know, it's like the classic thing where a guy meets girl, and girl, like, totally steals the guy away, and like
Yeah.
he just didn't commit as much, and,
Yeah.
you know.
Because I remember, I don't know if it was one of his first gigs when we were at Highway to Hell.
Yeah.
He'd not been in the band long then, had he?
Well, Kieran
Yeah.
Kieran had been about 2 or 3 months then.
Because wasn't he the drummer in another band as well? Because he's a drummer.
Yes,
as well.
I didn't really know Kieran too well. They all seemed to know him.
But I remember he was actually the drummer in another band. At
Was
the
he
same,
in Fallen Mafia? Did he drum for Fallen Mafia
I
for
can't
a bit?
remember which band it was, but they were playing Highway to Hell as well.
Uh-huh.
So at first,
yeah.
I saw him playing drums in a band,
Uh-huh.
and then I was like, is that the same guy playing bass for that band? I was like, he's in 2 bands in the same
He's Mr.
competition.
Finger and all pies. Literally.
But after seeing him do both, I was like, I think I prefer him as a bass player.
Mm-hmm.
He's got quite an intimidating presence, hasn't he?
He does. Because
So is he about 6'5" or something?
I would say 6'5", 6'6". You know, he kind of just towers over you.
But he looks worse than he is.
Definitely.
He's a nice guy.
We had another giant in the band as well. Our original bass player, Sean Dixon,
All right.
was this tall, Norse-looking guy. Like really, it was like something from
Like a
I don't
big
know, just
Viking
like
or something.
a Viking movie
Yeah.
or something. You know what I mean? And he was in for about a year, but it was just a case of he wasn't as dedicated as we were.
Right. Yeah.
You know.
Well, you kind of have to go through a lot of that to get your right lineup, don't you?
You do. You totally do. I mean,
Like as soon as you start doing more gigs away from home, when people have got to like either take time off work or
Yeah.
rearrange their life to fit the band, that's when you find out.
I
if
know
they've-
your band's had that, right? Like,
Yeah.
but, you know,
Yeah.
that's just life. These things happen, and everybody's got the reasons. It's
you
fair
just gotta,
enough.
eventually you end up with the right lineup.
Mm-hmm.
You just gotta, you go through certain things. Yeah, like I think touring's probably the main test, isn't it? That's when it comes to people show how they can, like, because you've got to take 5 days off work, or like giving up your work holidays for the band, not for personal stuff.
And it's not so much the actual shows; it's the traveling.
Yeah,
the traveling can really break people.
Yeah, it's what some people say. I don't get paid to play; I get paid to travel.
yeah.
Which is,
you travel like 6 hours to do like a half an hour set or something.
Because you would do the gigs for free if you could get all your travel paid for you.
Yeah.
Because that's the bit you enjoy. So might as well. It'd be better to get paid for the stuff that you don't enjoy.
It would be great though if we could all do this and make a living off it. Because we all.
I think we're 30 years too late for that.
I think so.
The internet's come in and ruined all that.
Yeah.
Because there's no such thing as album sales anymore.
It's I don't know about you, man, but I love going to a shop. And I love flicking through the albums and seeing what there is, and
I love a physical product.
Yeah, rather than these days, it's just
click a single track. It's suddenly on your phone playing, and there's no there's no connection to the artist at all, is there? Other than the music.
Well, I made, like, you might have seen it, but I put a post up on my Facebook like the other week or whatever it was, and I was in HMV, and there was like a family there, and they had 2 kids, and the kids went and they picked up like. Whatever, now 5,000, there's been like 1,000 of them, right? So the kids are like, oh, it's got all the chart songs we want to listen to. So they run over to the mom and they hand it to her. And she looks at it and she says something along the lines of, oh, you don't need to pay for music anymore. Dad can download it for free and on the shelf it goes. And I was just like, this is like the problem now, because like you've got a generation of people who did pay for music and listen to it, and then it's made music this free entity, and like
it's devalued it.
It's devalued it, definitely.
People expect to have it for free. They take it for granted.
Yeah,
they don't think you should pay for it.
I mean, it costs a lot of money as well.
Like they don't see the other side of. That's the thing with digital. There's no connection to the artist. Like all the packaging, all the artwork, they have no idea what's gone into making it.
Time and money.
They just think, oh, I can have that for free, so I will.
Yeah.
So that's why not very many people post-internet. Not many bands post-internet can do it full-time without a job, or even a part-time job. I think you'd be surprised how many bigger, medium-sized bands, some of the members still have jobs.
Yeah.
It's crazy. That's the main difference these days.
Yeah.
It was never the case back in the day.
So I know like the labels like fucked a lot of people over and stuff.
Well, the labels fucked themselves over as well.
Well, that's the thing. In the end, they fucked themselves over
because they just buried their head in the sand about the whole like Napster and all the file share, and they just ignored it and hoped it would go away.
Do you think it will ever return to how it was, or some like a fraction of how the industry used to work, or do you think it's done and dusted now, and we just got to move on? And
I think it'll just be a different version of it. I think it will, and it'll be forced upon us because like think of all the dinosaur bands like AC/DC, Metallica, Iron Maiden.
Yeah,
when those are all gone. Which is what, like 10 years? Like who'll be headlining Download in 10 years?
I don't know. Who's capable of doing it, really?
I think the threshold's going to have to come down. Like, you won't have bands who can fill stadiums and do tour the world in stadiums. I just don't think you'll have that anymore. Because all those bands who do that got famous in a way that doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah.
So I think, like, any band from, like, 2005 onwards, it's going to be a total... They're going to have to bring it down a bit, I think.
Yeah.
Because... because no one values the music that, like, especially generations coming up now, they're not going to value it like we do.
Yeah.
Even the casual fans, we're musicians, so we're obviously going to value it. But even your casual fan is just their attitude's going to be totally different.
Yeah, it's like what Lemmy always used to say. He would always say, people are cool buying the T-shirt and stuff, but they won't buy the music.
Yeah.
And like I know for myself, I'd rather have the album than the T-shirt.
Always. We get people at gigs. They'll come up and we'll got like 3 T-shirts and they'll buy 2 of them, but they won't buy the CD. And I'm like, well, sometimes when you get
what we do, another clothing brand.
Yeah. I mean, you need that because it's part of it. But sometimes someone will come up to you and they'll be like after a gig and they've never met you before and they're raving about your band. They think you're brilliant. And as soon as you mention a CD, they go, "Oh, they start going, I'm a bit skint." You know what I mean? And you're like, well, we're obviously not that good then, are we?
You mentioned T-shirts, though. It's like heroin.
Yeah, yeah. But it's like,
do you like stadium shows? Like, what do you think? Like, because for me personally, I love the experience of it. I love going to the arena, and I love getting wasted and being amongst thousands of people. But sometimes the sound can be a bit crummy.
Yeah.
You just get into it because of the show, you know what I mean?
My only gripe is if I'm at a stadium show and I'm looking around at all the people and I'm thinking, I'd say about 95% of these people wouldn't do this for anything other than a big band and a big venue. They're those are the kind of people who need to start thinking, oh, I've got a venue in my town. Oh, I'll go and see some bands there. They'll happily pay 85 quid to see AC/DC.
Yeah,
but they won't pay like a fiver in their local venue to go and see 5 local bands.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I think that's kind of what's been lost.
That's a very interesting take on it.
So I do like stadium bands. I just wish there was a balance. A lot of those people are happy to do that as well as go to their local venues, but that doesn't exist anymore. Like, we had a show around here last year, what are they called? Dragon Force. They played the Brickyard,
right?
And it was sold out.
Yeah,
and we went because we had a gig the next week, so we were handing out flyers for our gig. And I just remember looking around, going, I don't recognise a single person in here.
This show,
nah. And I come here quite regularly, and I was just thinking, where are you guys? When it's not a big band, they're just people.
That's what makes a scene thrive when people come out, you know.
But that's what it used to be like, and like when we do gigs in Europe, it kind of reminds me of what it used to be like here. You know, people look forward to Friday night or Saturday night to go into their local venue to see. They don't really care who's on. They're just going to pay and go and see some live music.
Do you think it's harder to please people? Do you think people like? I mean, we live in an era now where everything's instant. You know, if you want anything, you can just pick up your phone and get it. I mean, are people's attention spans less? Do you think that's what it maybe could be? Or?
I think that's part of it. I think the mainstream's had an effect on that. Everything's short, 3-minute sound bites. Yeah. No one's got any time for anything.
Because I'm sure that you're like me in that if you go to a show, you don't want to be playing on your phone. You want to be watching the band, right? That's what you're there for.
If I take photos, I take a couple at the beginning. Right when it first starts, when the lights come on, and then I put my phone away and I enjoy the show. But you see some people. Actually, I saw a video the other day of Adele calling someone out, and she was like swearing and everything. She was like, "Put your fucking phone away!"
She's got a foul mouth.
She was like, "Look, I'll smile." She's like, "Put it away." It's like there's people outside who couldn't get in who want to see this, and you're fucking about on your phone. She was like proper angry, and I was like, "Fair play."
Oh, the guys and women with the iPad.
Yeah, like a massive iPad.
It pisses me off because like I'm trying to watch a show, and this big light screen. It's so bright, you're distracted. You know what I mean?
You've seen clips of various people in bands throwing water on people who've got their phones off, taking their phones off them.
Oh man!
And they get flack for that as well. So some people say, "Oh, you should be able to do whatever you want to do. You've paid for your ticket." There's that side of it, but it's not enjoying a show, really, is it? It's not.
No.
It's
almost like It's almost like you're removing yourself from the show.
Yeah, why not pay your ticket and then they could put a screen outside and you can go and watch it on a screen. That's the same thing. That's what you're doing.
Like they do at Wimbledon.
Yeah,
when it gets fucking overcrowded. Go and sit on the bank.
Why not just set one shitty camera up at the side and then say, "Well, we'll give you a recording of the shitty recording that just like you're about to record, and you can have it, and then you can actually watch the show."
Be fair.
It annoys me sometimes, but that's just life. Instead of lighters now, it's cameras.
Yeah. It's like,
But that's the world we live in now.
It sure is.
It's sometimes difficult to adapt to it, but
things change. Everything
you've got to. So all you've got to rely on now is your live show. Touring and merchandise.
Yeah.
That's all you've got. You haven't really got album sales anymore.
Do you think the quality of the venues is there as well?
There's certainly not as many venues.
Yeah,
that's for
sure. They
sure.
seem to close, like they're open.
There's always something closing,
and then they go. You know,
I think they're obviously not doing it right. There's obviously there's plenty of venues that are thriving out there. So I don't know. I think you got to market your shows in the right way, put the right bands on.
I sometimes feel it's like alcohol prices.
Well, that puts a lot of people off.
For example, Trillions in Newcastle, right? That's run by Dave Hills now. He took it over. He's doing a great job. Prices are a lot better than what they were.
Yeah,
the last stoners who had it, they really didn't know what they were doing. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like the bands they were booking, the wrong type of bands. The drinks were ridiculous. I mean, like I bought like a pint of Coke, and the guy was like, "Oh, that's £4."
Huh?
I'm like, "What? Yeah, £4 for a fucking Coke." You know, I almost had a fucking heart attack. I bought my friend a pint for £3, and then I had a Coca-Cola. It's like £4. It's like, man, like you're gonna put people off coming in.
Clueless.
And that's what happened. Yeah. They closed, and then thankfully it's in good hands.
Because that's part of your reputation is if you've got good prices on your drinks, not just what bands you put on or what gigs you put on. It's all part of the overall thing.
People want to unwind.
Yeah, but if it's going to cost you a fortune. Like it might be £3 to get in to see the bands, but it's going to cost you £40 to have 5 drinks. It's like they're not going to do that very often, are they?
Yeah, like 5 Cokes for £20.
That sounds ridiculous.
It is ridiculous. It is crazy.
But yeah, he's got it together. That Dave, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Trillions. We're playing there next month.
Really? Who are you playing with?
It's that Melfest.
Oh, right, cool.
With Massive Wagons.
Yeah, we did that last year. It was a good show because everybody knows each other. You know?
Yeah,
that's
just a good party atmosphere, isn't it? Everyone's friendly.
It is.
It's not like a serious gig. It's just a laugh.
Yeah.
But it's at a good venue with good sound.
It's a good cause. It's all charitable as well.
Yeah,
so,
I'm looking forward to it. Mm-hmm. Massive Wagons, they're another good band, aren't they?
Yeah.
Love those guys. They're doing well.
Every time I've seen them, I've been completely blasted. So it's something of a haze, which I remember. Like it feels good. Like I've seen so many bands like that. Do you remember when that the BBC Radio 1 big weekend came to?
Oh, the Foo Fighters.
Yeah. Do you remember that?
I do remember that. Yeah.
I got absolutely blasted at that, and I just thought I'm gonna go see a load of stuff.
Yeah.
That I don't normally go and see. Right. So I got wrecked, and I remember walking into the tent to watch the Black Eyed Peas, right? I don't remember shit of that. I don't remember anything. I remember walking out going, that was really fucking good. But I can't think like anything in between, which was like nothing stands out. So maybe it was just a complete brain fart.
Maybe.
Like Tiny Temper, I remember him jumping around the stage, and then I don't remember shit. I remember like Alex dragging me out, and he was plastered, and I was wrecked.
So do you remember the Foo Fighters then?
Yeah, I was sobering up by then.
Okay.
I was starting to sober.
So you sort of peaked a bit too early and then came back down.
came back down. Should have been the other way around. I should have been wrecked for the rock show.
Then you could actually analyse the pop stuff.
yeah. I just think because it was different. Like I've never really been to any pop shows because it's not really my thing. And I don't know about you. Like,
I think the Foo Fighters attracted a lot of people like for the same reasons as you. Because they'd go to see the Foo Fighters, so they thought, well, I might as well go and see the other stuff that I wouldn't normally get to see.
Would you have went to see Lady Gaga because she played the night after, didn't
Probably
she?
not.
Really, you wouldn't have went? No,
I don't think so.
No.
If someone was going to get me in for free, then yeah. How much were the tickets for that?
I think they were free. I remember them being like you had to apply online.
Oh, that was it. Yeah.
And
you had to be on the ball on that one, didn't you?
Yeah, my dad had he made 100 accounts or some shit. Totally frauded them out of loads of tickets. I maybe shouldn't say that, but too late now. It's recorded.
I think most people did that, to be honest.
I think so. Because a lot of touts trying to sell them.
Yeah, well, that's a big problem as well.
You know,
ticket touts.
But I would have went to see Lady Gaga.
Yeah, I suppose I would have if
because she did
I didn't go and I didn't even try and get tickets. I must have been away somewhere. I can't remember where I was, but I know a few friends who went and said it was awesome. Said the Foo Fighters were on form. In fact, I think Steve, our drummer, went and he actually saw Taylor Hawkins.
No way.
Really,
actually
he was in a room with him,
walking around.
He was ended up in the same tent as him, and he was looking over and he goes, "I recognise that guy." And then as he was going out, it's Taylor Hawkins. Turned around, gone.
Yeah, that's like life, isn't it?
It is.
Tell you a story. Actually, I went to Bristol with my girlfriend Laura, and we went to see Orange Goblin and Church of Misery. Do you know Church of Misery?
Don't think so. No.
Think of Japanese Black Sabbath.
Right.
So we go to Bristol, and this show is at the Fleece. And we walked down there early, about 1 o'clock, just to get the bearings to know where we're going in the evening.
Yeah.
Lo and behold, Church of Misery are there outside the venue. all smoking joints, whatever, getting stoned. I was like, Laura, we got to go and talk to them. Let's go and talk to them. And she bottled out of it. And then they went. And then ever since then, we've always talked about it and totally regret that now.
Of course.
You know what I mean? Like what a great opportunity. And then it goes, they go back to Japan and,
you never see them again.
Yeah, hopefully they'll come back. They were sick. Really good band.
Where was that at?
That was the Fleece. The Fleece? In Bristol.
Right.
Which is, if
so you went down specifically for the gig?
We went down, went down to see Orange Goblin and
cool.
It was Grifter. Have you heard Grifter before?
Yeah.
And Slab Dragger were playing. And this was the ultimate doom show.
Right.
I remember it was great because it's a weird venue because it's all these big iron poles. Through the floor, so it's you got your floor space, but it must be an old basement or something.
Right.
It's just really gritty. It looks like something from a film or something.
Yeah, cool.
But the drink prices again were ridiculous. I ordered 2 Jack and Cokes. You're gonna pay us down south? What was it? 19 quid?
What?
Yeah, it was Do you think I made of money, motherfucker?
Jesus Christ!
I know. So
it's just like
Bristol's amazing. If you get a chance to go, go.
Yeah.
Bristol's a beautiful place.
That's a party killer though. That price.
Oh yeah.
Jesus
You can
Christ.
get heroin for cheaper than that. You know what I mean?
You order 2 drinks and you pass a tenner over thinking it's okay, and the guy's like, "No, keep going."
No.
I could score some
another
crap
one of
for
those.
this.
Yeah.
Give me another one of those.
Yeah.
And you'll get a little bit of change.
It's almost insulting, isn't it? It's insulting.
But
It's like the north-south divide, though. You know, we're lucky in that we do still pay less for stuff. I mean, of course, you know, we get paid less, but I think it works out in our favour still.
The gap's pretty big though, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
But you realise it when you go down there, it's like £5 a pint. £6 a pint.
Have you guys played London? Or
No.
anywhere near there? Because we haven't played London.
We've played
either.
Oxford.
Yeah, Where did you play in Oxford?
Played the Cellar.
Yeah, that's where we played as well.
Just recently.
It's got a nice vibe to it, isn't it?
Yeah, and it was really
Like-
busy as well. It was the first time we played, and it was just like really cool.
Very good.
Good venue, that.
Mm-hmm. It reminds me of, do you remember TC's? TC's nightclub in Carlisle.
No.
Really? Did you never go there?
Don't think so, no.
Oh, it was just great. Well, it was great for the first year, and then it nosedived pretty quick. It was just this grotty, gritty rock bar where everybody went on a Wednesday night and you just get completely fucked up, you know what I mean? And, you know, your feet would stick to the floor.
Oh, yes.
And all the walls were beaten and the mirrors were all smashed. And we
God.
just had a great time there.
Well, what went wrong with it?
Just poor ownership,
Oh, okay.
really. I don't really want to drag anybody's names
No,
into it for
no.
various reasons, but it just
Went downhill.
Yeah, it just you know, they started catering to the wrong people. They tried to turn a rock bar into a dance venue like the New Year's Eve. You know, everybody was looking forward to a rock night, you know, the New Year's Eve, and then it became a dance one all of a sudden.
You know, the chaps coming in.
Yeah, it's like, well, it didn't make sense, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Be like having a wrestling show and everyone gets there and it's ballet or some shit. You know, you'd be like, what's going on?
Yeah. Bit
Yeah.
random.
Very random.
So have you guys you just released a new teaser, was it? Did I see?
Yeah.
For a video.
Teaser
What's the new
for,
song called?
Well, it's not actually a new song. It's just what happened was when we recorded just for tonight, there was a few issues with it, which we weren't particularly happy with.
So is this a
collectively.
song, like another video
This
from
was
your last EP?
This is on 8 of Swords.
Right, yeah, I get you.
So what happened was the opportunity came up to completely re-record it.
Just the song?
Just that song,
Right,
and
yeah.
remix it and remaster it. And what
Cool.
we're doing is it's essentially tying us over to the next release.
Right.
It's going to be a free single you can download. There's a video coming out for it, which, you know, the teaser was for the video.
Yeah.
And you know, it's just I guess a way of saying thank you. You know what I mean? Well,
So
maybe
what's the song called?
just for tonight.
And when is it going to be out?
There's no definite release there right
Okay,
now, but it's
right.
going to
So
be
you
2 or 3 weeks.
Tease us for
We're
quite
gonna,
a while.
We're going to announce it on the Facebook,
Cool.
and then it's there'll be a countdown to it, and then it'll be out.
Well, if we have any more episodes before it comes out, I'll mention it.
Thank you very much for plugging that.
What's your Facebook page?
Facebook. What you mean the actual
Yeah. /
Hellion Rising Official?
There you go.
I think.
We asked Jimmy Greaves of Self-Afflicted, and he just said, I said, so is it just facebook.com / Self-Afflicted? He went, yeah, it is. And I looked it up, it wasn't. If you type in that, it comes up with another band called Self-Afflicted.
Singers don't know.
I
That's
think
the
it was
thing.
We Are Self-Inflicted. That's
Really?
what that one is.
It's like, I forget when shows are. I often get literally the day or the day before. It's like we're playing, you know, here like next week.
I have a
It's like,
list.
we are.
I have a list.
That's good.
Every gig, every day.
It's good to be organised.
Yeah, what venue, what time I need to be there. Because I would forget otherwise. I'm terrible at memory and stuff like that.
What's the best show you've played and the worst show?
Best, probably Whizfest last year in Belgium. Sold out.
Cool. Because you guys went there during the height of that ISIS shit, right?
Oh, that was another time.
Was that another time?
That was back end of last year.
We'll
that
have
was,
to get on that later, though. But
Yeah,
that's such a crazy
I'll get onto
story.
that later, yeah.
It's crazy.
But yeah, it was Whizfest,
Uh-huh.
which is it's a festival organised by Whiz Wizard. Do you know of him? Big, crazy Belgium guy with a beard, grey hair, long grey hair.
Doesn't ring any. But is he in a band or something?
Yeah, he's in a band his band's called Whiz Wizard.
Like Wizard who did the Christmas song.
No.
It's about saying like that's like shit hot, man. If that's him.
But you know the guys from Absolver, like Chris
Mhm.
Appleton,
Yeah.
they're good friends with him.
Uh-huh.
And he just I think it's his 4th year or it's 5th year now, and it's the last 3 have been sold out.
Mhm.
So and it was just like
were there
from
any
front to back, it was just people as far as you can see. It's just crazy.
That's cool, man.
And that was the first time, like they knew the words. We'd never been there before. Our album had only just come out.
Wow.
And like Oblivious and Council of War, I could actually hear people singing the words.
It.
It's kind of stuff that makes your hairs stand on end while you're playing. It's just like
that's crazy.
We don't really get.
Do you get that here?
We do now, but back then we weren't getting it as much at home. Like I say, the album had just come out. This is the difference in mentality. They'd all bought the album and they knew all the words, whereas over here you have to go around and around a good few times before you can achieve that, really. But they're just more into their music over there, especially rock and metal.
They do always say Europe's the stronghold of metal. That's what they always say.
Yeah, well, that's why like we went to see Annihilator last year, and if you look at most bands, they've got a massive tour, but they've only got 8 dates in the UK. The rest of it's all in Europe because it's more expensive. And like in was it the ABC Glasgow we went to?
Yeah.
That was what 800 people, if that.
I'm trying to picture it.
It wasn't. It's not very big. The ABC.
Oh no, it's tiny because it was really like shallow.
Yeah.
From the stage.
So they were playing those sort of venues here, and then when they go to Europe, they were playing like 2,000, 5,000.
It's crazy.
It's just like
crazy, isn't it?
You have to over here. You have to sort of twist people's arm to get them to come out. You know, like if you come out, we'll give you a free ticket, or you can have a half price T-shirt, or you've got to do things. Whereas over there, you put a gig on, and they show up.
Does that raise the question whether or not metal's on a slump here? What do you feel it is like?
Yeah, probably. Well, it's been this way for a while, to be honest. Over here. But it just seems to be strong as ever over there.
I think a lot of the problem is, a lot of this stuff doesn't chart, And
Plus,
you need bands which are like gateway bands, like, a lot of people talk shit about Bring Me the Horizon, but the way I see it is they're a great gateway band for kids, because kids are going to listen to Bring Me the Horizon and go, man, that's exactly how I feel. And then they're going to get sick of, not get sick of that band, but they're going to explore for things, and then they're going to find out about bands like Malevolence and stuff, and Slayer, and...
But I just think the mainstream over here is just... I just ignore it.
I don't even know what's in the charts.
Exactly. Right? It's not... If they had a good mix of everything, I would respect it a bit more, but... I mean, that really... I was in my girlfriend's car the other day, and it was on Radio 1, and I lasted about a minute and a half.
You turned it.
I was just like... this is
off.
Going off now. Put the CD on. It's just... I just couldn't. I can't listen to this.
It's just what makes the money. They put all the tracks that make money on the CDs, and they put that out in the shops and sell it.
Yeah, and if you listen to any mainstream radio all day, you're going to hear the same 12 songs all day.
CFM.
There's like
do that all the time.
If there's like 100 songs out, they're telling you that these are the 12 that you need to go and buy. They're just basically just churning it over and over and over again. It's just like I despair for people that only get their music intake from mainstream outlets. Like, the people they only listen to like Radio 1 or things like CFM, and they watch those music channels on TV, and that's the only way they hear music. So they're basically being told what's current or what's supposed to be popular.
There's so much great shit out there as well.
Yeah.
I mean, like, when you compare, like, pop music in, say, the 1970s to now, I mean, like...
Even in the 90s it was better than it is now, I think.
Britpop and stuff. But, I mean, like, what back in the day, when you have, like, pop music, the Bay City Rollers, Kate Bush, Fleetwood Mac.
Yeah.
Now, if you got One Direction, I can't even think of something. Rihanna.
I think the difference is, back then people used to write their own songs. Now you have a team of songwriters who write songs for people. Yeah. So they're just basically glorified karaoke singers.
Everybody turns to Desmond Child.
Yeah. I mean, they can sing, but they can't write songs.
Yeah.
How do you class a musician? Would you class Adele as a musician or a great singer?
Does Adele write her own music?
I don't know. I don't think.
I think to me, if somebody pens their own music, I think they're a musician,
right?
But if like you can sing and someone gives you a song, I think you're a singer. You know
exactly.
Like I mean, like Elvis. You know what I mean? A lot of people go, well, Elvis was just a singer, but Elvis did write some of his songs at least back in the day. Maybe not at the end, but
yeah,
I
think that I have more respect for older music before technology came in.
Oh, fuck yeah, man.
Stuff that, even if it's not my kind of music, but I know there was no Pro Tools involved.
Oh, yeah, God.
There was no auto-tune.
Yeah.
It's authentic.
I mean, like,
I can listen to it.
Sun Studios in the 50s, when Jerry Lee Lewis and people like Johnny Cash, I'm a total sucker for that kind of music. And it's just literally like, the tapes are rolling, go. That's it. You got no safety in it.
If you fuck up, we start again.
Yeah. Yeah.
I always think there was a lot more of raw emotion in songs back then as well. Now it just seems to be they're trying to write songs to cater for how people like to relate to certain people. You know, that, like they're sort of doing it on purpose rather than just writing what comes from the heart, which is what you get from having a songwriting team writing your songs for you.
Yeah,
it doesn't reflect you as a person.
Do you know what I feel is a massive issue right now? And I strongly believe auto-tuning is a problem because it makes everybody sound the fucking same.
Oh, it makes someone awful.
Yeah.
Sound like they can sing.
Yeah,
which that shouldn't be allowed.
I mean, my example of this is I listen to various music. So the other night I was listening to Dusty Springfield, right? I like Dusty Springfield, so I was listening to Son of a Preacher Man, whatever the song was. But she's such an amazing singer, but even on them tracks, there's moments where, you know, she falls off key a little bit. But it just it captures that human element to it.
Makes it seem more real.
And it makes it, like you're saying, it becomes real. It's like, God, I can just feel that. But then when you hear someone these days say, like, what was that one called in the Pussycat Dolls? Like fucking Nicholas Schwarzenegger.
Shirt slinger.
Yeah. Right, her.
Shirt swinger.
Shirt swinger. like you hear her tracks and they're like fucking flawless. Like, God, like flawless, man. And then you hear her live and it's
when
like
it becomes
a scalded cat.
That's when it becomes apparent, isn't it? When you hear those the raw feeds from their live audio rather than what they heard out front of house. It's just like...
Yeah. So it just seems to be the thing with every producer wants to use auto-tuning now. There's no one who will work without it, unfortunately. You know?
It's like Top of the Pops. People didn't like going Top of the Pops because you had to mime. Do you remember that thing that Nirvana did?
When he did like that Rick Astley kind of thing.
He's like, Renatrators.
Yeah.
They were just pretending they were clearly not playing live.
You would do that though if that pissed you off. Well, you know, like if it really...
I can only remember... There's only a couple of bands who actually stood their ground. Metallica did it once, but they did a... I remember, I think it was like Hero of the Day. It was out as a single or something.
Really?
But they were on tour.
Really?
I was on Top of the Pops, but they weren't in the studio. They cut to them at a live gig.
Yeah.
And I'd never seen that before. I was like, in the middle of their tour, Metallica like must have stopped and said, "Hey, we're going to go live to a TV show."
That's pretty amazing. It shows the power of that band.
Yeah, and then just played it live. And you could tell it was live.
Did you ever see the performance when Wheatus came to Top of the Pops and it was when they just made it big with Teenage Dirtbag and they went straight to #1?
I don't think so.
What I also remember about that was they got everybody on the stage and you know, they kind of bring the song down, you know, and then it's like, he goes, like, I got 2 tickets to that bit. And I always remember laughing at this. The camera pans to, like, the percussionist, and he's got, like, this like drum or something, you know, like a shaker. And it's the shape of this big yellow cock. And he's, like, shaking it, and you can tell the camera, like, sees it. It's like, no, by the way. And it quickly changes, but it's too late. Like, honestly, go back and watch that. It's just so funny. Like, it's just classic British live TV moment.
Well, when we'll eventually get internet set up in this place, we'll be able to pull that stuff up.
And, like reference it.
We'll just mention it. Pull that up.
Pull that up.
I just remember laughing at that. It was like, oh, man, it was so good.
That sounds awesome.
Yeah. That's
but
like, yeah.
Top of the Pops. That was a phenomenon. But it was a bit...
Do you think that's like partially like the slump of album sales and singles as well? Because we don't have shows like that anymore.
What, you mean because it's gone?
Yeah, I mean I know stuff was nosediving when digital was coming in. But when Top of the Pops went, like, it just seemed to even more.
I think Top of the Pops went because of that.
Do you think that was the reason?
I think they're just... People...
Yeah.
It just seems to me it keeps coming back to the whole thing's just being devalued. People are not. Obviously, people weren't going to Top of the Pops anymore as much.
For you, when you walk into a music shop, like when you go and like look at an album, or whatever, what do you think's a reasonable price, and what do you think's too much?
I suppose a tenner. I was used to paying a tenner for a CD.
Yeah.
You know, if it's if a band that I like and I like it,
That's
or even $7.99 up to a tenner.
Yeah,
I'm fine.
Because anything over that puts me off. Do you feel like that?
It depends. Yeah, usually. Yeah, I don't think it. You can't justify it because it doesn't cost that much to make a CD.
Like Danzig's, well, not his new CD because that's like a cover CD, but his last proper studio album.
Yeah,
I went to buy that in HMV Newcastle. This was years ago, 2009. It was $17.99 on a compact disc.
What?
Yeah. I was like, I'm
just
not
a normal, not a special edition.
Yeah, it's just a standard digicase disc. It's like I'm not paying that. You know what I mean? It's like it just seems too much. I want to pay for music, but I don't want to be ripped off either.
It should be. There should be a standard set of price. This is how much an album costs.
Should be £10. That's all it should be.
Yeah,
maybe it kind of depends on how many tracks are on it as well.
Yeah, I think that was an 8-track record. That one,
just 8.
I think
if it was a double album, then fair enough.
Yeah, fair enough.
And like if there were really long tracks as well, like Dream Theater's latest album, double album with 34 tracks in total.
Oh my god!
And you think, bloody hell, that's going to cost a lot.
You'll be there for a century.
It's just like 10, 12 quid like any other CD.
Yeah, I think maybe that says more about Danzig than
maybe because
he's a
I'm a total sucker for Danzig, so I gotta be careful what I say.
I know I love Danzig, but he's got a bit of reputation, hasn't he?
Yeah, I mean, I'll tell you a story. When I saw him, right, this was the first time I saw him. It was Download Festival, and he's small, but he's a big guy.
Yeah, he's stocky, isn't he?
Probably a steroid user. Anyways, he comes on, right? Stood there like big motherfucker that he is, and like they go into, I think they open with How the Gods Kill.
Right. Yeah.
And his monitors like clearly aren't working right. So he's getting in this big paddy, his face is screwing up and he's going red. The guy is going red. It's like he's gonna flip. And literally he picks the monitors up and he's throwing them at like the security people. You know, like in like the ducket, like to help people like if you're getting like trampled on and stuff. And they're like diving out of the way, these big monitors. And then at the end of the first song he's like, "Sound guy, I'm gonna fucking kill you at the end of the show." I was just like, oh shit. It was just so intense.
I'd hate to be that sound guy.
Yeah.
The sound guy's off the desk and he's off.
You'd be gone. You'd be on the next train out of there, man.
Yeah, you would.
But Glenn Danzig seems to be one of those guys who... There's a reason why there's been multiple lineup changes, but he's the only one that stayed.
Yeah.
It reminds me a bit of Dave Mustaine.
Yeah. I think so. I think it's his way on the highway.
Yeah, and if you
either take it or leave it. If you don't like it, you
I think some people genuinely joined the band thinking, I'll go with it for a bit, but then I'll be able to sort of stamp my own authority in the band. But it turns out that it's literally you do what he says or you're out.
Well, it's like their classic lineup era. You know, that it only lasted the first 4 albums.
Yeah,
and then they were, from what I gather, fed up, and he wasn't. They all separated, and he got a new band in. And he went into his 9 Inch Nails kind of phase, which I was a little bit unsure of.
Well, like Risk and that.
Yeah, kind of.
I don't mind Risk. It was a risk.
It was a massive risk.
But
Risk is an album. For me, look, right, like, I love Megadeth, and, like, when I hear Risk, it's like, it's not Megadeth to me. I mean, like, I can appreciate it and think,
it's almost like a side project thing, isn't it? Like
there's
like
some
an
good
experiment.
It is.
But Dave Mustaine said that was mainly Marty Friedman's fault.
Really?
Because he was pushing them to go in a more melodic direction, because he's got very weird taste in music.
I heard Lars Ulrich had something to do with this.
Yeah, he said to him, you should take more risks, which is why it ended up being called Risk.
Take it into a risk, man.
But
that could have been his way of like trying to sabotage that.
Yeah, it could have been, because that was the last straw. That's when that lineup disbanded. And then was it The World Needs a Hero 2001? I think it was. That was when they had the next lineup. I quite enjoyed that. That was pretty good.
I like it. It's still maybe not Megadeth, but it's heading in the right track.
The new album. Have you got the new album?
Yeah,
I really like the new album.
I love
Dystopia.
it. I think it's great. I think some of the lyrics are a bit out there, maybe a bit right wing, but
they're a bit Dave Mustaine.
Yeah, I mean, like, I don't like that get in the way of, like, you know, he can think whatever he wants. I don't agree with it. Half the political shit he agrees with. But I like his music.
Yeah, I just try to just analyse the music rather than if he's going some political round, just let him.
It's like I'm a big Ted Nugent fan. I like Ted Nugent's music, but his political shit, man, I'm so opposite to Ted Nugent and what he thinks in politics. Yeah. But I like his music.
Yeah.
You know?
You should separate the two, really.
I think
you shouldn't let stuff like that get in the way of good music.
Unless it's Gary Glitter, of course.
Well, that's different.
It's kind of getting a bit like dodgy then.
Or what's his name from that band?
Lost Prophets.
Yeah, I forgot his name now, but that's changed.
Like my friend was saying, like years ago, he knew this lass because the Lost Prophets came to Carlisle and she fucked him. You know.
Yeah.
She used to boast about it, and he was like, "I wonder how she feels about that now." I feel sorry for her, really. Yeah. You know, in a way, because it's going to be like. But who knew? Who would know about that? You know what I mean? So
I remember the first sort of proper tour we did. We played Manchester. It was like a Thursday night or something, but we got there really early, so we just went walking around Manchester. And we went in this like underground shopping thing that had like clothes and CDs and T-shirts, but all the steps on the way up, all these massive posters. And the first step was a massive poster of him from Lost Prophets, and some of the stuff that had been drawn on his. I was like, wow.
Maybe
I'm surprised it's still there.
Yeah, maybe that's why they leave it there. Though it's better to remember, so like people remember the off things, kind of like the Nazi thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
that's true.
It's
Yeah.
there so people remember, and hopefully it'll never happen again.
Yeah, that's true.
Know?
Yeah,
I always thought they were shit. Anyways.
I didn't really.
Thought they were bollocks, man.
I thought they were average at best.
You know.
I liked a few of the songs. I went through
There's a couple.
Lost Prophets and Bullet for My Valentine and Avenged Sevenfold stage.
I could get down with some Bullet, man.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, I could
Bullet's
get down
great.
with some
Yeah.
Bullet. Yeah.
Not so much anymore, but yeah.
Yeah.
That was the classic 14-year-old band. You know?
Yeah.
Back in the day.
I was
Yeah.
going to ask you anyway, speaking of Glenn Danzig, what do you think about the Misfits getting back together, the original lineup?
Great. I think it's going to be very challenging for them. I think it's going to be a very testing time. I think if they can get through the first 3 shows, they'll be okay.
Yeah.
But, I mean, this could massively blow up on itself in the first show. It has that kind of potential because you have the Powder Keg, which is Glenn Danzig, and you have the Lighter, which is Jerry Only.
Jerry Only, yeah.
And you've got poor Doyle trapped in the middle who loves his brother and loves Glenn.
Yeah.
And he's going to be Henry Kissinger to this. He's going to be like, like an ambassador to try and stop this shit going down.
I just think they should go for a beer before they do anything.
Yeah.
Just meet up, hang out, and just
get fucked up.
Yeah, just
maybe
try and rather than just meet at the gig for the first time. Obviously, I suppose they've got rehearsed as well.
Yeah,
but
it might just be an all-out fight. I mean, that'll be the one for the ages, wouldn't it? You know, like
I would like to see that, but
that would be cool. I think Danzig would probably win that.
Yeah, I think he'd probably take them all on.
Probably have a knife.
Mind
in
you,
his
that
shoe.
Doyle's pretty big.
He's a big chava.
Yeah, I wouldn't.
He's one big fucker, man.
It reminds me of Kieran.
Yeah. If Kieran was on roids, then
yeah.
Hench, man. I saw the last time I saw Danzig. It was 2 years ago.
Right.
They were playing with the Black Spiders. The Black Spiders opened for them.
Right.
And Danzig had Doyle with him. They did like a Misfits set.
Oh
And,
yeah, I do
like,
remember that. Yeah.
it was a good show, man. But I mean, like, you have no idea how big that guy is till he comes out.
Absolutely.
I mean, like, have you ever seen Alice Cooper when they bring the big freak out?
Yeah,
It's like 12
yeah.
foot. It's like that, but a real person coming out. You know, like, jeez, man, this guy should be a wrestler or something. I know if I was a wrestling promoter, I would be like eyeing him up and
Sign
going,
up that guy.
I can make millions off this guy. Call Vince McMahon.
But yeah, I do. I love the Misfits. I think. I hope it goes well.
Do you like the Michael Graves Misfits era?
Not so
Like,
much.
Do you not know?
They're all right.
I really
It's
like
all
that
right.
stuff as well. Different.
No, I don't mind
Yeah.
it. But just the original lineup was too short-lived. I'm just
Yeah.
intrigued to see how they pick up, if they pick up where they left off, which was
Yeah.
fighting and arguing.
Maybe adds to the mystery of it, though. You know, the fact that it did blow up early because, like,
there's a certain draw to it. The whole
Yeah.
thing now.
it's like Guns N' Roses. I mean, you look
Yeah.
at their career, 88 to 96. That was
Yeah.
the original. It just fell apart over, 8 years? I mean, they accomplished in 8 years what most bands couldn't do in...
30,
Exactly.
but most of it was all Axl's fault for being a dick.
Just Axl. Have you ever seen him live?
Not the original lineup. I saw
Yeah.
Guns N' Roses in 2001 when he started the
With,
Mark II.
DJ Akbar. and-
It was drivel.
He's not. Is it? It's not DJ Akbar. It's Ashbar, isn't it?
Ashba, yeah.
That
wasn't
sounds like
great.
Team America or some shit.
To be fair, back then, even Axl Rose, 2001, he still had it. He was still his
Yeah.
voice, and that was
He was
still
great.
there.
Mhm.
But it just wasn't Guns N' Roses. I just remember thinking, nah. I was at a festival, so I wasn't really there.
Yeah.
I'd be pissed off if I'd paid just to
If
see
he
that.
paid.
But
Was he late?
it's all
Did
right.
he show up late at your show?
I think they were about 45 minutes late.
He was
And they
2.5 hours late when I saw him.
Yeah.
I
To
mean,
be
I
fair,
saw him at Manchester, and
They've been on time with the AC/DC stuff.
really, I think what that's come down to is I think promoters have just got to a point and thought, you know what, I don't care who the fuck he is if he's not going to show up on time. No.
Well, he would have had to sign a contract and all that stuff. But he's
Yeah.
a genuine AC/DC fan. But and I remember seeing an interview with him where he was like trying to get some respect from the AC/DC fans, saying, you know, I'm a huge fan of.
Exactly.
I think at one point he said he used to be an AC/DC cover band.
Awesome. Cool.
And I was just thinking,
It's
well,
an amazing opportunity.
It is
for
but,
anybody to-
my first thought was, why can he give AC/DC fans that much respect, but he couldn't give his own fans that much respect to be on time every night?
True.
I
don't know. I think he's a changed man. I think now. I think he's
the jury's out on that one.
Yeah.
But so far, it depends
Would you have went to see them?
No, this Guns N' Roses thing is
Yeah.
different. The AC/DC thing's different.
Mhm.
It'll be interesting to see what happens if Guns N' Roses carry on. With
Yeah.
him, the original three. If he's got, that's when you'll tell if he's got his shit together.
I wish that they'd got the proper original lineup back with Steven Adler and Izzy Stradlin.
I do like Matt Sorum as well.
Really?
When I got into Guns N' Roses,
yeah.
Matt Sorum was the drummer.
Cool, man.
So it was like, what, 91, 92 when Usual Illusion came
Yeah,
out?
right. Yeah,
Because when I saw them, he was the drummer. So I had to. I found out this later, this whole Steven Adler chapter.
Yeah.
And I do like him, but I would kind of like to see both.
You want to see them both?
Yeah, swap for certain songs that they did.
It could be a great idea.
Yeah, I'd rather they did that. Because how do you decide? It's fair enough Steven Adler was in the beginning when it was like the most successful, but Matt Sorum was in it for longer.
Yeah.
So
yeah. Have you read Adler's book?
Yeah, I've read it. It's amazing.
It's so like the first half of the book is like the good times are rolling, the drugs, the money, the cars, and then you peel this side up where it's then you start God, crying. Misery, death, overdose, wife leaves me. It's like I felt like getting a pair of scissors and going, I don't need this.
No, I'll just read the good bit. Duff McKagan's is probably one of my favourite I've ever read. Have you read it?
I haven't read that one.
I recommend it.
Is it worth reading?
Yeah.
Is it as controversial?
No.
No, so it's more...
It's more relatable from a musician's point of view, the struggle and...
Yeah.
You know, like we were saying before, trying to get the right lineup together.
Yeah.
I remember him and Slash deliberately booked an East Coast tour knowing that there was probably only 3 of them who could do it to test the other members to see if they could get the shit together to organise it. Because if they wanted to do it, then they would make arrangements so they could do it. And they didn't do it. So.
Did you ever hear the story about where they played that farm fest or whatever? And then they went into a song by the UK Subs, and they hadn't told Adler about it, and Adler hadn't even heard it or rehearsed it. He's like, I don't know what to play, and then they had Duff, and he's just like play along to like that. Like that's really dropping somewhere in the shit there. Like,
yeah. But they were kind of a band on the edge, weren't they?
Oh, completely out of control, that band. But I think so. But again, it added to the whole mythology of that band. I think if they'd stayed around, they were big, but they got even bigger after they finished because of that.
I think it was meant to be short-lived. It was one of those things. It was like a controlled explosion. It was only going to have a certain lifespan, then it was going to fade away.
Yeah,
I think it kind of. That's why people like them so much.
Did you hear the story about when they got asked to open for Alice Cooper? And Axl never showed up for the show. And
I don't think so. It doesn't surprise me, though.
They had to do an instrumental for 45 minutes. And while Axl was fucking this woman he'd met. Cause legit. That was legit the story about
I'm sure they are well rehearsed at doing instrumentals without Axl Rose.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. Maybe they should have had a replacement.
Have you read Slash's autobiography?
Parts of it.
That's another good one. But I just felt so sorry for those guys when they were going an hour, 2 hours late every night, because they didn't want to do that.
No.
When they did that co-headlining tour with Metallica in '92, Metallica made the smart decision of saying, "We'll go on first. We'll go first. You can go. You can go after us." So they were on at 8 or 7 or 8 o'clock every night, do an hour and a half.
Yeah. Perfectly
on time, and just let them do their thing. Because if Guns N' Roses went on first and came on at 11, finished at 1, then what Metallica's supposed to do?
What a band to go on after, though. Metallica during the Black Album.
I know.
It's like there's this story back in the 80s, right? There's this big tour going on. It's Ozzy as the headliner, Dokken, the original Don Dokken and Jeff Lynch and people like that.
Yeah.
And Metallica during the Justice for All or before that.
It was Puppets, I think.
Right, yeah.
It was 86,
so like can you imagine being in Dokken? Oh, who's on before us? Metallica. Oh my god! You'd be like, we're not going on. Fuck
to be honest, I think before that started, they didn't know.
Really,
Dokken didn't know. It wasn't until they joined the tour that they were like,
really,
fucking hell, these guys are good.
I mean,
they were starting to get more people coming wearing Metallica shirts than even Ozzy shirts.
Shit.
Even Ozzy said they gave him a run for their money every night. It was just like, because obviously Ozzy was a bit older then, and he was coming sort of. A bit more mature, and they were just like young upstarts.
I
just
love that Fat Ozzy era. Fat Ozzy was the best.
Blizzard of Oz and all that.
Yeah, man. Ultimate Sin.
But
you look like your crazy auntie with the big. I just
gotta love a bit of Ozzy.
Yeah.
I always think. Do you ever think? Wonder if Ozzy's next?
Sorry.
I wonder if Ozzy's next.
You mean like the actual death thing?
I bet he's on like a watch. I bet there's like a guy. There's like doctors going. Where's he at? What's he doing? What time's he got to be there?
Maybe. I just always like the quote. Which he said something like, I'm gonna die in the most ridiculous way.
Probably on the toilet having a shit.
He's like, probably trip on the fucking rug and break my neck or something. No, that's what he said. It was like, it's such, because, like, I mean, he survived the quad bike accident when it landed on his head.
Yeah.
You know,
all the
drug overdoses and
just life.
The work in the factory, you know, he worked in this factory.
Oh, yeah,
and they said, whatever you do, don't sniff the fumes from this vent because it'll kill you straight away. So he'd sniff it and get high off it. I mean, it's when I kill, it's like cadmium or something.
That's
cadmium
Aussie. That's Aussie for you, innit?
And he goes sniffs it and he gets high. He'd kill everybody else. You know?
Oh, God bless Aussie. Yeah. But, like the whole Lemmy thing. Like, you'd think of Lemmy and Aussie, you just take them for granted.
Of course.
You just think, oh, they'll be there forever. Yeah. And he just, when he died, I was just like, I started to think about Aussie came up, like, who else? You just take it for granted.
Well, unfortunately, it's a thing, and everybody's getting older now. And unfortunately, Grim Reaper catches up with everybody at some point.
Yeah.
No matter who you are. And, I mean, Lemmy, like, God, did that guy have a good run, a good innings to even live that lifestyle and survive it for what, 70? He was 70 when he died, right?
Him and Ozzy were both like, they should have died years ago.
Yeah.
Most people would have.
I mean, like, that drink-fueled culture, it was a machine which killed a lot of people. It took a lot of people with it, not even so much people in bands, but people who were surrounded, you know, who hung with the bands, hung around with the bands. They got eaten up with the machines. Yeah. Exactly. And he, you know, he's like the last one standing, really. A lot of them guys.
I mean, just doing the same till the day he died as he was 40 or 50 years ago.
Of course,
it was exactly the same, sat in that in the rainbow bar on the slot machines.
Yeah.
Just like...
he was a very ridiculously strong person. I sometimes feel that, you know, when he was told it's terminal and you're dying, I think in some sense he maybe just give up. It was on his own terms and he just thought, I'm ready, it's time to go.
Yeah. Did you see that footage of him when he had to get taken off stage?
Was it the one where he's like, oh, I just can't do it? And then that's hard to watch.
That was very hard to watch.
That's a hard pill to swallow with something like that.
That's when I was just thinking, just quit, just stop now. Let us remember you when you were in your prime.
Yeah.
Don't tarnish you.
Yeah. I think he wanted to go out swinging though. I think he had this thing where it's like, I want to be on stage with the bass, kind of like what happened with Nick Menzies, you know. It's just bang and you go.
I didn't want to see him like that. I just
it's hard.
When I saw him being helped off the stage, I didn't see Lemmy. I saw a frail old man, and I was like, that's not what I want to see. That's not Lemmy. It's like, it's almost like if you had an old relative who's dying, you're like, would you want to go and see them on their deathbed, or would you not want to go and see that and just remember them?
Do you know you remember them? You know what's really unique about Lemmy, and I always think about this quite a lot. When people talk about people in the music industry, you always get somebody who has something bad to say about everybody.
Yeah.
Lemmy, I don't think I ever heard anybody say anything bad about that guy.
Never.
I don't think I ever have.
No.
Do you know what I mean?
Because he was genuine. And he was just treat everybody the same.
Yeah.
Which I think comes back to that elitism thing we mentioned earlier. It's like it didn't exist back then. Well, it did, but it wasn't wasn't prominent.
Yeah.
Like,
so maybe it's more rife now.
If people, definitely. If people were elitists back then, they were singled out. Whereas now it's pretty much commonplace.
Yeah.
I tell you, a person who didn't like Lemmy was David Draymond from Disturbed.
Really?
What's his beef?
Well, David Draymond's Jewish, and then Lemmy likes to collect all the Nazi memorabilia.
Right, yeah. So he was trying to put him down as
It doesn't mean he's into... He's not like...
I
he
know,
doesn't condone what Nazi did. He just likes to collect war memorabilia.
Yeah, I know, that's the thing. And obviously David Draymond's very opinionated and...
He is, isn't he?
Vocal, so he just blasting him on Twitter and stuff.
Yeah.
I just remember that particular...
Well, he did more for music than David Draymond will ever do.
Well, yeah, there you go.
That's true.
Not to shoot David Draymond down or anything, but I saw Disturbed live in 2008. It's the biggest load of dog shit I've ever seen. Like really, like I don't even like trashing bands or anything, but it was
be honest.
It was such a manufactured performance. And
in what way?
Well, it just seemed it was all routined.
Right.
Like they just seemed like they were going through the motions, you know what I mean? Okay. And I want to see something spontaneous. I just want to see fireworks go off.
What year did you say this was?
This was 2008, a download.
Because I think they took a hiatus, didn't they?
Maybe they were coming back from that.
But they've just come back now.
Have they?
Yeah, they did something a bit different. I don't know how long the hiatus was. It was 3 or 4 years.
Yeah, I think so. I think
because he was on the Eddie Trunk podcast, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, just a few months ago.
they didn't even tell anyone that they were getting back together or that they were going to rehearse new songs. They just got back together, spent a few months rehearsing, writing songs, went in the studio, recorded the album, recorded a video, got all the artwork, booked a tour, and then just one day just went on Facebook and online, just went, here you go, here's a new album, here's a video, here's a tour, boom.
Maybe that's the way to do it.
And it was just like, everyone just got, and it was only a few weeks away. It wasn't like, most bands start a campaign 6 months before something's going to happen. They just did it, and it was just like, you've got 4 weeks. Here it is.
Maybe that is the way to do it, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like, rather than a
people
really
document
slow
every
trail.
little thing they do and drip feeding your fans
like
for
that.
like 6 months.
I think with Bowie's like last album, it was like out, wasn't it? Like there wasn't even any build up. It's like
Just
it's
put
in
it
the
out.
shops today.
Yeah.
It's like
Just because
Cool.
he can, because he's Bowie.
just
It's like, oh, by the
But
way,
I think you can do that if you've got the fan base. You can do that, and I think that's all you've got. That's all you've got these days is your fans now, because you can't. Obviously, you haven't got your album sales, so you need to be good live.
yeah.
You can have a good album, but you need
got to
to
have it where it counts.
You need to be able to do it live. You need to. That's in a way that's more beneficial because it makes for better musicians. Not just relying on a cool video and an album and people go and buy it without even seeing you. Now they're only going to support you if you can do it all. You've got to
perform live.
Yeah, like if you must have had it when you've played somewhere where you've never played before and people are coming up to you and paying you compliments and stuff.
Yeah, it's
and
overwhelming.
Like, that's
really.
genuine feedback where
I never know what to really say or do.
I
always
just say
feel
thanks.
a bit like
but it's
Garth
like
Elgar, thank you.
getting outside of your comfort zone, like of playing around your own area, where every time you play a gig, it's some of your friends, your family. They're obviously going to say that you've got to get out and play to strangers, and if the feedback's the same, then you're doing something right. But I think that's all you've got. You need to survive today. You need a fairly dedicated, large fan base. Yeah, and you've got to, in a way, the way things have turned out, it's kind of forced it upon us now to be more organic. You can't sort of. You've just got to.
You're in music for the love of it, aren't you?
Yeah, well, definitely.
You're in it for because
you're certainly in it for the money now.
It's a hemorrhaging loss of money being in a band.
But
you
can do it. You've got to, if you get to a certain point where you can put something out and fans will lap it up, and you've got enough of them to. So you're not in debt every time you do something. That's like the next step, isn't it? To like not have to everything you do puts like a huge dent in your bank balance. You know what I mean? That's just the way it is these days.
Yeah. Ideally, what do you want out of Dynamo? Like say 5 years down the line, where would you want to be with Dynamo?
I'd be happy if we're still doing it.
Really? Yeah.
To be honest, I'd call that an achievement. Because we've been going 3 years as Dynamo now. It was 2 years as Dynamo.
Has it really been three? So it's like 5 years.
Our first gig as Dynamo was in June 2013 at Grand Central in Manchester.
Oh wow!
It was Kev's first gig. Kev had he'd been rehearsing for like 6 weeks with us.
What a talented guitar player!
He didn't. Oh, thanks. He didn't know. He didn't know that was Dynamo's first gig. He thought we'd done a few gigs.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Oh, was that? Oh, all right." So I was like, "Oh, so I've been in since day one." And I was like, "Yep."
Cool. Man.
But yeah, no, he is good.
That's very unique because the band had been going, but his first day is really day one. Fresh page, fresh book.
Yeah. Well, it was when he joined. It was like, yeah, we've got this tour booked, and we've signed with Rock Sector. And he's like, oh, okay.
It's like, wow.
And then we've got these dates in Europe.
Did a good role here.
Yeah, it's like in at the deep end. But yeah, he's all right guitar player, isn't he?
He's great. His brother's a great guitar player. Both of them are excellent.
Yeah, they are. His brother's a good bass player as well.
Mike is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I played with Mike and, we used to jam, with my brother and stuff.
Yeah. Oh, for people who don't know, your brother is he lead or rhythm guitarist?
I don't know.
He's a guitar player.
So messed up. It's like
he's a guitar player in the band called The Sun Explodes, who are awesome, and I recommend anyone listening to this should go and check them out.
Very unique, out there kind of stuff.
Yeah, what's their pigeonhole? What would you?
I don't know. Like I said to him, he got insulted by this. Actually, I said to him, at times, it kind of reminds me of a progressive version of King Diamond. He's like, no, it's fucking not like that. I'm like, man, I know you don't like King Diamond, Alex, but I do. I love King Diamond, so I thought it was a really cool compliment. But they're definitely prog.
Yeah,
progressive.
they like
alternative progressive. I don't know.
Off time signatures and the stop-start sort of thing, don't they?
But they don't even practice. That's the thing.
I know.
They don't practice. They go and play a show. That's it.
Have they got anything coming up? Or
from what I gather about the Sun Explodes right now, I think they're having a little bit of a break, and that they're all looking at, like, they're in the middle of changing jobs, buying houses,
trying to get themselves sorted so they can.
They're the kind of band where they've finished their next album and they're working on the one after.
Yeah.
Legitimately, like I I've heard some stuff which is 2-3 years down the line. It's
Wow.
finished. It's complete.
Cool.
I mean, they're like
That's rare.
a regimented machine, a well-oiled machine. You know?
I guess they've kind of got to work at certain times when they all can do it, so they've got to be productive because they're not going to be able to do it for a while, so they need to get it sorted.
Yeah.
That's cool.
It's just the way they work. I know, like with our band, well, for me, I have to practice. I get like ring rust.
Yeah.
You know, I have to. I'm not someone who can just walk away and you know, if I come back, I'll struggle. I have to keep singing. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Maybe I don't know how do you find that?
I can stop sometimes, but then if I've got like 3 weeks off, I'll start doing some singing a week before. I'll start singing quite a lot every day. Just kind of get it warmed up because it's if I do a gig cold, it starts off fine, but it just kind of dies off quickly. It's just being able to maintain, especially when we're doing like an hour and a quarter.
Yeah,
you've got to.
It's a long show. You got to condition.
Yeah, you've got to keep going. Mm-hmm. It's also why you've got to carefully arrange the songs so they're all work better for your voice.
Do you have to do that as well?
Sometimes it depends.
Yeah, because often like I would like to do that, but it never works with like how our live performance flows.
Who decides the set list then?
Probably Davey and Gio who and Adam who pick it out.
Right.
You know what I mean? If I do have a major issue, then of course they'll...
It's like, I really don't like playing that song after that song.
Yeah.
But other than that, I'm cool.
Because there's some now where I am...
You've got some quite high notes.
Scream, you think?
Yeah.
Really?
Or some like...
almost
like some straining high notes.
weakest thing. I struggle with the high ones, you know.
No, that sounds really good, man.
There's a lot of screams and stuff, which is... It's nice to kind of get back to.
Yeah.
That kind of stuff. But you certainly got to watch with that. Got to find a balance between singing that and then starting to sing clean again, because you can just blow your voice out. You know?
Yeah, you've got to pace yourself.
That's the thing, you know.
Do you play guitar as well or not?
Nothing, jack and shit.
Okay.
Like fuck all.
You ever have ambitions to one day?
Well, I mean, I started playing bass when I was about 14. I wanted to be Jason Newsted.
Right.
Legit, right? So I got a bass and I didn't really knuckle down. I didn't stick with it.
Right.
So I can play the same level as someone like Sid Vicious.
Okay.
You know, like I can play all the Sex Pistols.
The punk attitude.
I can do stuff like that, but nothing decent.
I just wondered if you ever had thoughts of like one day doing a gig where one song you're playing guitar as well.
I'd like to play piano.
Okay.
I'd love to play piano.
Do you get piano in a Hellion Rising song?
I don't think so. I don't think that would work, you know.
Maybe for an intro.
Maybe, yeah.
You never know.
Maybe.
Or an outro.
I think I was going to do a piano.
Like Faith No More.
Yeah. Actually, that'd be shit hot. Get shirts and ties and jump around, man.
Like Kraftwerk or something.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, like I think the boat sailed with learning to play guitar. I had a lot of opportunities to play guitar because my whole family played guitar. All of them play guitar, you know. And my chance to do so came along, and I always wanted to sing. That's cool. From an early age. I saw when I was about 3-4, I saw videos of Queen at Wembley and stuff, and I was just absolutely transfixed. You know, and I just thought, God, I would love to be able to do that. You know, and
it was amazing that was what was it, a half an hour set or something, or 20-minute set?
Well, there's the Live Aid.
Yeah, that was the one that really captivated everyone.
I think it's 20 minutes in total.
That's the best 20 minutes you're ever going to see.
They go on and they just do a medley and they never stop.
So I remember the first time I saw that, I didn't see the whole thing. I saw part of one of the songs, and to me, you would think they were the headline band. That was just their show.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
You wouldn't think they were just a small part of a multi-band event.
It made everything else look like shit.
Yeah, it did.
You watch
imagine who was
Duran.
Who was on after them? Who was on after them?
Oh God, what's he called? He did "Slave to Love." Brian Ferry. Brian Ferry was on after Queen, I think.
Jesus Christ.
Can you imagine that? Like, just the most memorable performance in 30 years. Next up, Brian Ferry of Roxy Music. I mean, I like Brian Ferry, man, but like, it's like...
That's a mismatch right there.
You wouldn't go on, would you?
He would have crawled on crying. Don't let me do it, please.
Please, no.
I'll tell some jokes instead. But...
yeah, I mean, like... Queen did the tour, though, the year after.
Yeah.
They went and did around the UK. They did St. James's Park, and they did Wembley and Nebworth on the Kind of Magic tour.
I think that was what really catapult them into the mainstream, wasn't it?
That was it. That was like the last tour as well. Like they had the big tour, and then they never toured after that. They made Arms for 5 years, and then obviously Freddie died. And Freddie got sick of touring it apparently. But my dad was at the St James's Park show.
Wow.
And the opening band was Status Quo, I believe. And they came on, and and they kind of get people tepid, warmed up. And my dad was like, Brian May came out and like hit the fucking first chord, or like One Vision or whatever they opened with.
Yes.
And he was like, it was like literally like they just blew Status Quo off the stage, like out the arena.
Wow.
Drowning in the Tyne somewhere.
But Queen are just like one of those bands.
Queen are fucking
to have seen them in their prime would have just been.
Yeah. I mean, my dad's seen them a few times. He saw them on the Hot Space tour.
Right.
And then he saw them in the 81 Milton Keynes Bowl, I think. That's actually on footage.
Oh, yeah. That was a good one. I remember seeing footage of that.
Fucking amazing. Like, great, That's a shame, though. It's like, because with, like, any musician, like, obviously with Lemmy gone, like, you don't know what you've got till it's gone.
Exactly.
A lot of times.
That's true.
And I'll say this to anybody out there, like, if there's a band you really want to see and the tour, and go, because you just don't know what's going to be around the corner. The band could split. Something unfortunate could happen to somebody, or someone will join another band. You just don't know. So really think about it. And I mean, I feel like that with Dio, with Ronnie James Dio. Yeah,
that's true.
Like God, that guy's around forever. And then I remember he got diagnosed with stomach cancer. And then the thing which got me was it was all over the press. He was getting better, and then literally like 2 months gone. And then it's like God, like it's like that whole shard of heavy metal, that important piece, of history. It's gone. You'll never get to see that again.
Exactly. I think a lot of people only then realised how important he was or how good he was.
Yeah.
That's kind of what you want to try and avoid. You want to try
and then
go see them, appreciate them when they're here.
True, man. And then after they die, you get all these horrible tributes, like the Dio Disciples.
God.
I want to see that.
You still get a lot of horrible ones when they're still here.
Go on. Can you think of any right now? Or
just in general. I've seen some horrible ones. It's weird, like when you see tribute bands of bands that are still going. I'd happily see a tribute band of a band that's no longer. Mm-hmm. I would say that as a purpose of a tribute band. Mm-hmm. But
because you get like Metallica tribute bands, don't
you? Like to be fair, I've seen some good ones. I've seen a really good Megadeth tribute band at Trillions last year. Mm-hmm. They were just awesome, but it's just a bit. It's weird.
It's like we're still alive. Megadeth was still going.
Yeah, they're going strong. Just brought an album that's done as well as any other album's done in for a long time. Mm. But then the next week there was a Megadeth tribute band. It's just like weird.
Yeah, man. But how do you rate Pantera?
Oh, one of my all-time faivorite bands.
Yeah,
love them. What about you?
Yeah.
It's funny you should mention that because me and Kev were just watching it. Dimebag did like an hour in-store demonstration for Randall.
Oh no shit!
I think it was in one of the music shops, and it was just like there was only like 50 people in there. It was in like 92 or 93 or something like that, and he was just playing some riffs and jamming to some backing tracks and like just talking to people, taking questions. I was just like, I wish I could have been there for that. I'd been
talk about
people really do that anymore.
What do you mean, like
install a little one-on-one? I remember Jeff Waters did one last year on one of those cruise ships. Right. Where he was just playing in front of amps and he was just talking to people, like a small crowd. But like you don't really get big stars doing that anymore.
I don't know. Like I think like occasionally, but someone as big a star as him, considering how big they were, like the metal band in the 90s, it's very unusual.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
I suppose the equivalent now is people go to the Guitar Centre, don't they? They do a special at the Guitar Centre.
Like Nam show. And
where they get like a small crowd in and they ask questions.
I mean, how do you feel about like when a big band charges people to meet them? Is that a grey area for you, or?
I don't. In an ideal world, they probably shouldn't. But I suppose I remember I had this gripe with Metallica because they used to do that, but then they started saying it was only for fan club members.
Cool, yeah.
Because you're already paying to be in the fan club member. So then, if you're going to a specific show, you put your name in the hat. And I got it in 2009 for Newcastle, and it didn't cost me anything. But before that they used to charge. But I don't know. I think if it's free, then any old nutter can go in. Yeah. And you get all the. But if you've got to pay money, I suppose, then it maybe weeds out some of the more dedicated fans who will happily pay to go and see whatever. There's arguments for and against it. Some bands do it, some bands don't. I guess. I don't know. I
don't know. It's a hard one, really, but I don't know. I don't know. It just seems a bit odd to charge people to meet you.
Well, especially today,
it's like,
times are harder today, though.
Mm-hmm.
It's like we talked about how many ways have bands got to make money. Like now that
well,
fair enough for bigger bands who've already got fans all over the world. They maybe don't need to do it, but like some of the bigger bands that we would call bigger today, maybe they need that. Maybe they need it. It's like Megadeth had some kind of pledge campaign for the last album.
I thought it was bullshit.
Not to record. It wasn't to record the album because the album had already been done. I can't remember what was it for. Why did they do it?
From what I remember about it, it was for the recording of the album.
Which
I thought was a load of shit, considering Dave Mustaine has his own studio in his house and he's a producer.
You might be wrong. I can't
really.
I think the album had already been announced. But it was something maybe to do with the tour. They were trying to fund something. I can't remember what it was. But when Megadeth has to do a pledge campaign, I just remember thinking, we might as well just give up now then.
I mean,
what have we got? If Megadeth needs some money from the fans.
It does raise that concern, that point. But
did you see the Annihilator one?
What was that? Was that the one where they asked for someone to pay to go on tour with them or something?
Well,
when they were like, come on tour, but we'll charge you like whatever.
Yeah, but like the last tour, they charge. I think you had to pay like $7,000 or something to go on tour with them. But now they've got a pledge campaign for their new album, but it's things like $33 gets you 2 postcards and 2 Jeff Waters picks. $130 gets you to watch the band rehearse via live stream. $130.
It's ridiculous.
And then the rest of it was like $66,606 gets you Jeff Waters' car plus 2 days at his house, or $7,000.
Where does it end? That's the thing. Where does this end?
Well, I mean, how rich does he think his fans are?
Yeah,
he obviously needs money, but like clearly he thinks his fans are richer than he is.
I know. I don't have money to buy Jeff Waters' car or go and have a beer with him in his pool and whatever.
Fair enough if you've got the fans who can do that, but your average fan ain't going to be... That's not up their street, I don't think.
Did you hear their last album? Suicide Society?
Yeah, I thought it was alright. I bought it. I went to the tour.
Yeah. I actually really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I thought it was a good album.
The only thing I was a little bit... the lyrics have always been a bit...
yeah, they've always been a bit...
But like,
some of them be like, that's brilliant,
that.
and other times you're like, I don't know what that means.
I mean, the song about people breaking into his house, I was like, it's like, man, like...
He's taken that very literal, hasn't he? A very literal approach to
you broke into my house, motherfucker!
There's no metaphors in that one, was there? It was like, you broke in my house, I'm going to punch you in the face.
It's like if Donald Trump was in a metal band, he would just be saying, it's like, I want all the Mexicans out of America. We're going to build a 50-foot wall. It's like...
Oh, God.
Yeah, fuck, man. I don't know. Trump, there's another one for you. Should we go with Trump? Should we go there?
What a guy.
Where even begin with? Should we avoid that one? I don't know.
Yeah, I think we should avoid that one.
Avoid Trump and the fact he's going to become president, man.
I don't even know. Like to think what happens if he becomes president. I can't see it. I can't see it going that far.
I can. I fucking can. It's going to be... I don't know. It's just... I don't know, man. It's like... It's one of those things everyone was laughing about it when he started.
Yeah, it was a joke at the beginning, wasn't it? It was a total joke.
A midgie's left testicle from actually getting in the office.
People are like, shit, this might actually happen.
Can you imagine if he gets in, though, like his inauguration? Because he's not going to go with the traditional music. It's going to be like the Rolling Stones, like, start it up. It's going to be there.
What if he gets in and this whole thing is just an act? And he's just like a really normal guy
maybe.
when he gets in.
He was a Democrat. He was a Democrat years ago, and he's a Republican now. So it could just be a massive ploy to like, fuck you, Republicans.
He gets in and it just goes, gotcha. Yeah. Turns us into a completely different guy.
The United States of Trump.
Oh, God.
Do you know what? This is the thing, though, right? And I don't know if anyone will have thought about this, but the positive, and I'm not saying there's many positive things about him getting into power, but the positive about him getting into power, how much great fucking music is going to come out of this heavy metal and punk? It's going to be like Reagan all over again. Yeah. You know, it's just going to like, there's going to be so much contempt. Yeah. And I hope we have bands like Black Flag again and the Minor Threat and Flipper and stuff, you know? It's like, so maybe I think maybe we'll get all the drawings of Trump with his eyes falling out and like stenciled, and I would like that. I don't want him to get in power, though. I don't want Hillary Clinton again, because she's full of shit as well. But
it's a interesting situation, isn't it, to watch from the outside?
Yeah, because really we don't really know any of it. But seeing as they're the superpower in the world, and they've got all the we've got nukes, but they've got most of the nukes.
Even most Americans are going, shit, he might actually do this.
Last thing, it was such a joke, and now he's going to get in.
The world's biggest prank that might actually come off.
I know,
but it could backfire.
hopefully.
Maybe it's just a mask. Maybe there's somebody else under there. So when he finally gets in, he takes it off.
Yeah, it's probably Bill Clinton.
Got you guys.
I did not have sexual relations with that woman. It was a man.
Yeah.
What a guy.
Going back. Sorry. Go on. Carry on,
go
please.
for it, man.
I was going to say, going back a bit, Mark. You didn't talk about your worst gig.
Oh yeah.
This
is why we have Tech, our producer, keep us in line.
Thank you, Tech.
That's all right.
He makes notes of things.
Really?
Yeah.
All up here. I wrote some stuff down.
Well, I can see some stuff on your paper there.
Yeah.
That's really cool, man.
But worst gig was probably.
I think I might know.
I was going to say you'll be able to get it because you were there. Literally, like, have you've seen that picture that gets shared on Facebook where it says, "Unless you've played to this."
Yeah, right.
Then
it was
you can't
like nobody there.
This. Like, it was literally, we played in Blackburn. This was years ago, like 4 years ago, and it was like we were getting paid, so that was fine, and we got put with this really weird band. Well, I say a band. It was like a acoustic guitar duo called Crywank.
Yeah,
who were just weird.
And like, sounds like, out there. Like,
it was in Blackburn. We'd hardly been anywhere at the time. We'd never played there before. We were like, we don't know how this booker found us, but they've got in touch with us and they give us the gig. Like, cool. So we go down. Great venue. It's upstairs. It's got a proper stage and everything. And this of Crywank were like local, so they brought all their friends and family, and they were playing. They were on before us, even though they were their local band, because we were like quite heavy, so it made sense for them to go first. And then it was like busy. They were playing, and we were like going. We were like, taking pictures of the crowd, going, "Whoa, look how busy it is! We can't wait to go on stage." And then they finished, and then they all went downstairs to the bar downstairs to have a drink, and literally like me, the band, merch guy, Tech, our roadie, he was there, the sound guy, someone behind the bar, and not one of them came back up for when we played.
That's terrible, isn't it?
It's just like a couple of people who I remember from popped the head up, looked through the door, and then went back downstairs. It's just like it was kind of those.
Isn't it?
I
it's a slap in the face.
It was a bit,
yeah.
But I imagine it was one of those situations where if just a couple of them had gone up, they all would have come back up.
Yeah.
But like, even the band didn't come back up. The other band, they just stayed downstairs. It's just like
it's crazy. It's
you
like
learn these
it
things.
doesn't like that's like no sign of support, is it? And like like we're saying before, like people forget like it's hours of traveling to get to places, and then it's just like a massive kick in the balls when that happens. I mean,
the sound guy came up to us. He goes, "There was nobody here, but that was fucking awesome." And
he
bought the CD and he bought a T-shirt and all that
that's
sort of
something.
stuff.
But like you're saying, you live and you learn from that, and you probably won't do that again. You won't.
Well, it was one of those things where we couldn't predict it because it was quite a well-paid gig. So you were thinking, oh well, they've obviously got a budget, so they must be they put on regular gigs, but they didn't. They didn't sort of make it so that people came back. If I was the promoter, I would have gone downstairs and said, "Everybody, the next band's starting. Let's all go up." They probably would have all started like sheep.
Yeah.
If you start going up, then they all go up, but it never happened.
Paid gigs are few and far between, though.
Yeah, and it was one of those. That was where we sort of developed the mindset of just give the same performance, because even though we were playing to just like the barman, and if we'd like downplayed it because there was nobody there, maybe it's that barman or that sound guy wouldn't have bought a CD.
Yeah.
So whether there's
That's
two people
what I
there,
like about your band.
whether there's 2 people there or 2,000,
Yeah.
just imagine that there's always 2,000. That's what I do. I try and always imagine that it's like just loads. Sometimes you've got smoke and lights, so you can't see anyway.
Yeah, it's like I'm at Wembley.
Makes it a bit easier. But we always just
like,
try and give the same performance, whatever.
That's what I admire about your band, though, because there's always like you've got a bar and it never drops below the bar, and I really admire that, because like
Cheers,
a lot of bands you go see them and it's like you
Up
were
and
saying
down.
before, it's like it's like a deflating feeling. Like when you go somewhere and like people aren't getting it, which is fair enough. Not everybody's going to get you. Oh, it's quiet.
Yeah.
But like the times where I've seen your band, and it has been unfortunate events. There's either not enough people there, or they're not quite getting it. It's always the same quality.
Yeah.
I admire that. I think that's great.
If you persevere and you keep going, you will find your audience. You've just got to.
You found it now.
Yeah, we found it now.
You
Yeah,
definitely found it now. So,
but you've just got to keep doing what. That's where I think some bands fall by the wayside by if people don't get it quickly enough. They kind of start changing it.
Yeah.
Rather than sticking to what you started off doing, because then you kind of. It's a never-ending circle of trying to please other people.
I hate seeing a great band just go to the fucking dogs and like finish. I'm sure you can think of loads of bands which are like they were amazing and like God, like what happened?
Just stick to your guns.
Did you ever see Blackjack?
No, I don't
like
think
the
I did.
Northeast band. They were like rock and roll.
I remember them, but no, I didn't see them.
Like early White Snake.
Yeah,
and God, they were a really fucking good band. Tight, just had it, and it just fell apart. I don't know what reason or why, but it was just like, God, like I just thought they were awesome.
Yeah.
You know, it's such a shame. You know, I don't know if that's because of the industry, because of, you know, the way it is right now.
Yeah. There's a lot of bands.
There's no real light at the end of the tunnel for anybody.
Every week now, it seems a band disbands.
Yeah.
It just seems to be. It just shows how hard it is out there now.
Yeah.
Like, there's not. It's hard for people. Like, you know, you've got to.
Yeah.
You've still got to have a job.
Yeah. Right.
So then, how do you do all your gigs and rehearse and pay for recording and all that sort of stuff? Fit it all around.
I think the way forward, like I think you were saying this online, where you're saying Spotify and things like Napster, and they should pay a little bit more.
Well, eventually everyone's going to be online, aren't they?
Yeah.
I mean, CDs. I think CDs will always be there. Bit like vinyl. Well, it'll become a bit of a because there'll always be a market for it.
Nostalgic. Yeah.
Eventually, if everyone's online and streaming, then why can't they pay them? Surely you've got the users, the paying users. Why can't you pay the artists a bit more? Balance it out. Because, like I said, album sales have completely been taken out of it, but they've never been replaced. So it's got to be replaced at some point. Surely,
right.
You've got to make it a bit more better for the artists to want to do it in the first place. Because if it gets to a certain point where people are just like, we just can't do it. It's just like you obviously got to start off pumping money into it yourself to get it going. Or you need some kind of investment. But when you get to a certain point, you've 5 years, 10 years, you should be sort of seeing a light at the end of the tunnel. But it seems like a lot of bands aren't, because all their music's online, but they're not getting any money for it. Like what was it when Metallica, they resisted going on Spotify for about 5 years. And when they put their catalogue on, I think they used Enter Sandman, obviously was their most popular song. It had 25 million plays, and they got a check for about 17 grand.
Really?
Of
how many
25 million plays of one song. They got a check for it was thousands.
It's criminal.
And it's like,
you think of the money Spotify will be raking in off all these subscriptions and stuff.
Yeah, they've surpassed 40 million users.
It does show the relevance of that band still, though. Now they're huge, you know.
They are, but they're obviously living off that fan base that they've got, who'll always be there. But they're also living off their legacy. I think, like, they haven't been as productive as they could have been. I think they kind of, if the next album comes out next year, 2017, that's 9 years since Death Magnetic.
How long?
9 years.
Oh,
that came out in 2008.
Feel old now.
But it's like, how will anyone give a shit when that comes out next? Like, there's almost a whole new generation of music fans who've come through.
Yeah.
And Metallica have not done anything in that time.
Like we were saying before, Bring Me the Horizon seemed to be the big band in the
obviously they're younger, so they were going to appeal to a younger audience. But do you think any of the younger people are going to, because Metallica have not done anything in the last nearly 10 years, they'll just seem like some old dudes putting out some metal?
I think so. I think that's the big risk, isn't it, now?
And anyone trying to not necessarily defend them will just go, just listen to Master of Puppets. It'll be easier. But you never know, that could be wrong. They could. I think Death Magnetic was a step in the right direction. If they keep going that way, then I think they're sort of doing it. Seem to be coming full circle, but it's taken them too long.
I mean, that's almost shocking, really, that it's taken that long. I mean, that's almost as long as when they didn't. You know, what was it? 6 years between Saint Anger and Reload, or 7 years or something, and that was seen to be like the very testing period for the band, and things have been very productive for them in a lot of ways and positive, but it's taken 9 years to create a record. Like, I
think they've become a victim of their own success because they've been that successful and they've got no money worry issues. They own their own. They are their own record label now. They own their own music. They own their back catalogue.
That's really interesting to hear.
So they've got complete freedom to do whatever they want. But in a way, I think that's a bad thing because they've got no pressure. No one's telling them. I think you need a bit of we need an album by this date. Which is why they did a festival for a couple of years. They did a movie.
Orion Festa.
It's just like, why don't you get back to what made you famous in the first place and why we all love you as we did? You know, it's just like, you've tried this, you've tried that. Just get back to what you started doing. It's just,
I sometimes feel like they're almost like they're trying to be like a conglomerate, say like Kiss. And the thing is with Kiss, I don't mind with Kiss because they openly admit, we're after money and we want your money. And
Gene Simmons is just a machine. He's a marketing machine. He always has been.
It's like, cool, they openly admit, but then you have someone like Metallica where they try and please everybody still.
Yeah.
But they try and pretend they're still the band from the Bay Area, but then they're trying to do all the stuff like Kiss. They're trying to have the dolls and the condoms and
the movies and
do you know like everything. It's like you can't you either got to go with it completely. You can't stay in like both camps.
Nah.
You know what I mean?
Well, especially not after like 4 years, 5 years, 6 years. Like, come on.
Yeah.
Get back to. It's almost like tell them to get back to work.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean? It's like.
Yeah. Do you think they'll ever do side projects? Them guys. I know they did like Lulu with Lou Reed. But do you think there'll ever be a point where the guys in Metallica go, you know what, Rob is going to go and do a funk project or something, and then Lars will go and...
I don't think so. I think they'll just finish, and then they'll go and do whatever they want to go and do. I think if they were going to, they would have done it by now.
Yeah.
That's why Jason left, because he wasn't allowed to.
Uh-huh.
So...
Do you think who's the best player in bass player in Metallica? Who do you think... Like,
Cliff Burton.
You think?
By a long way.
Yeah.
He had it all.
Mm-hmm.
Like the creativity, he was well studied in the theory, and he had the stage presence as well.
Yeah. What about Jason? How do you feel
I
about
like
Jason?
He was like the fans player.
Yeah.
He
like
was
the
like,
performer, right?
He was the performer, and he was always the guy that would meet every single fan and talk to everyone. And he was just like really down to earth. Mm-hmm. Rob's just like probably the best all round bass player. He's just really solid, and like he's definitely adds to the sound of it. I think.
Yeah.
He's good on stage as well. I like
something I've noticed though when you go back and watch like Jason's footage, like you'll have it on DVD. You know when the 88 did they do the Justice for tour?
Oh yeah,
Justice for All tour.
Yeah,
and like during Am I Evil, you know, Jason Newsted does the Nazi salute, right? Yeah. People these days when they comment on that are like so pissed off about that.
Oh god.
Now. And they're like, he's a Nazi. He's fucking definitely a Nazi for doing that. It's so. Are people really sensitive now? Are people sensitive now? More sensitive than they were before? Because I see that, I see it, and it's like the Nazis. It was an atrocity what happened. You know what I mean? But him doing that is like he's not doing it because he is a Nazi. You know what I mean?
You can't do anything now. That's why I try not to read the bottom of the. I call it the bottom of the internet.
Yeah,
the comment,
the bottom of the fish tank with the shit.
Those YouTube comments, it's just like, you get 3 or 4 down and you go, I'm out.
Yeah, it's like comments like I don't know. It's maybe just a troll. It's like heard his uncle's in the KKK. It's like, man, what does this have to do with anything?
Oh god, but you literally can't do anything. So
beige society.
Depends whether you decide to give a shit about that or not. He obviously didn't. That's why he did it.
He didn't.
But
I don't think in '88 people would have been offended by that. You know what I mean?
Well, I don't think he would have put too much thought into it. He just did it. It's not like
it's a very evil
piss
song.
off a lot of people by doing this.
Sounds evil.
Yeah. I suppose that was the song it was in as well.
It's like, could you argue the same for Phil Anselmo though with his white power shit? Because that's maybe a different kettle of fish.
That was just
maybe
that was him being a dick.
Yeah,
he was drunk and he was just. He's always had that streak in him, hasn't he? He's always.
I think so.
I think so. Fallen out with his band for various things like that.
I don't think he's a racist. I just think he's stupid. I don't think he says. I don't think he thinks what he says. But I'll tell you something which really fucking pissed me off about that. All these people, right, who pretended to be that guy's friend, as soon as he said that, they were all on blabbermouth saying shit about that guy.
Yeah. And talk about like Rob Flynn.
yeah, Rob Flynn. Fucking Scott Ian. Like I like Scott Ian's music, right? But he just seems to like go with the tide on anything. You know what I mean? And like it's like I'm not into the soap opera of music. I like the music. I want to see a live show. I don't want to read about because it's like old grannies when they argue about shit, like just pointless stuff.
Yeah. No, I know what you mean.
You know, and I don't know.
He was a bit. Yeah, but
he wasn't right what he said.
No,
definitely.
But he's always had that, and he's always got shit for things like that. Mm-hmm. He just doesn't. He's one of those people, especially when he's drunk. He just doesn't think about what he's saying.
He's probably got a problem. He needs to.
But did he ever come out and apologise for it?
Yeah,
did he?
Yeah, there's a massive written apology saying I was.
Oh yeah, I think I do.
I was wrong, and I shouldn't have said the things I said, and you know, he just really poured his heart out. Yeah. Then you get people saying, "Oh, he's not sincere about it, and he's only doing it to tend to the masses and stuff." Yeah. It's like, you know, we live in a very hateful world in a lot of ways. You know?
Well, it's just full of keyboard warriors, isn't it?
That's the thing. I mean, I've had stuff said about me online.
Have you?
Yeah, of course. Of course I have, yeah.
Oh, God.
You
just kind of ignore it, haven't you?
Loads of times. The guy at the moment, for name's sake, I'm not going to name his name, but he trashes our band all the time online.
On Facebook?
Yeah, and I've never seen him. I don't know him. We've certainly never seen him at a show of ours. But he's always one to trash. I mean, okay, right. If the guy came to one of our shows, right, and he didn't like it. Fair enough. I don't have a problem with that. But when you don't, like when you're saying about something you don't know anything about, then
so he's been a bit prejudiced. He's just like he's made his mind up already.
Yeah, kind of.
That's weird.
Kind of.
So he just randomly starts putting things on. Like
he just comments things. Like recently he did.
That's
and
weird.
One of us messaged back to him, which I don't know if that was the right thing to do or not, but it's like, I don't know. I don't get involved with it. I don't try not to get involved with that stuff.
No. You're always going to get it. Always.
Yeah.
In a way, it's almost a compliment that someone would take that much time out of their day to
maybe
trash talk.
Controversy makes cash.
You matter that much to him that he's going to waste his life.
Get on somebody's like fucking wick that much that really just pissed them off.
It's quite an achievement, really, though.
Probably not the first time it's happened.
So I think we're going to wrap this up soon. But I just wanted to ask you, what was your best and worst gig?
Best gig for us. Oh man, it's such a hard one, really. Hard Rock Hell. Like the first time we played that was really special.
I can imagine.
And I think it was down like the prestigeness of it and the size of the crowd, because I really didn't realize how big the crowd was going to be. I remember, I walked onto the stage, or we walked onto the stage, and it was just like...
It doesn't matter what time of day you're on either.
People like everywhere. Yeah. You know what I mean? It was like, it's really overwhelming in a way.
Yeah. That's why I like the hard rock scene, because they're all proper dedicated music fans. And
they're great people.
They go and see the first band just as much as they want to go and see the last band. They just want to see bands. Yeah.
But then again, other shows which have been special to me have been the local shows in Newcastle. Some of the ones that like Trillions in the early days and like playing Think Tank.
Yeah,
where it's like awesome. Like your friends and people and like I love that aspect as well. Like
especially when you see it grow a bit. Like compared to when you first started doing it, and you a few friends and maybe a couple of family members, and then you just fast forward a couple of years, and like loads of people are coming.
You feel like you're giving back when you do a local show, and like it's people that have supported you from the start.
Especially if they haven't seen you for a while as well, and obviously you've come on a bit since then.
Of course,
that's good stuff.
But I'll tell you about the worst show we ever did.
Well, go on then.
When was this? This would be 3 years ago,
right?
4 years ago, and we get emailed, and it's like, do you want to come and play this outdoor music festival at a caravan park on the northeast coast? I think it was South Shields. I think it was, this outdoor show in South Shields, and we just thought, this is going to be awesome. This is going to be fucking mint. This, like it had a live radio stream as well. Like they would,
bloody hell,
yeah, it was going on the radio. So we drive up to this caravan park in South Shields. And we get out, and the stage is like, like a truck. It's just the back of a truck. And there's these 4 rabbits in a pink, blue, yellow, and green costume jumping up and down, right? And all these kids, just running around. You know what I mean? We are totally in the wrong place here. It's all like, people's grandparents, grandma and granddad, and mum and dad in the deck chairs, having ice cream. The great British family with the bellies out and shit, you know what I mean? It's like... So the dancing rabbits come off. Next up, Hellion Rising. I was like, oh god. So we're getting ready in the back of the truck, and we're like, oh man, this is gonna completely bomb, So we go onto the stage at a red light. Well, you're live on the radio, so live, and it's like, don't swear. We're told not to swear or anything.
Yeah.
And as soon as Gio and the guys and Davey and I think Kieran was playing, then Adam and hit the chords. Them old people were fucking out of there, man. Them chairs were wrapped up so quick. And we played, it was massive feel to one kid doing a circle pit by himself, smashing himself over the head with his, bucket and spade in time with the music. And that was the only time we've ever played outside. And it was good in the fact, it was nice to play with a nice view of the sea.
Yeah.
And the wind blowing, but it just wasn't the right time, really, and the circumstances weren't right, but it's something to talk about.
Yeah, it certainly is. It certainly is a story to tell on a podcast, isn't it?
So we'll have to maybe go back and play with the dancing rabbits again for one reunion show.
Cool. Oh well, Matt Adamson, thank you very much for joining us.
Thanks for having us.
It's been a blast. We'll have to do it again sometime.
Yeah.
When you guys have got you putting out something new later this year or next year,
we've got the video
yeah.
coming out for just for tonight with the re-recording, which is getting released as the like a free single.
Right.
Then a couple of months after that, we've got our new EP coming out.
Oh, okay, cool.
Which is called Kill 'em a Cure 'em.
Right.
And then there's going to be a music video coming out with that as well. And then we've just got a lot of shows and stuff. You know what I mean?
Cool.
We've got
Who came up with the name for the?
Well, I did.
Did you do all the lyrics?
I write all the lyrics. Yeah.
Cool.
I write all the lyrics and the melodies and the band.
What's the title of the EP? Where did that come from?
That came from the film The Omega Man with Charlton Heston.
Okay.
I'm a massive
classic.
Like fan of that film, you know. And I was obsessed with it.
Cool.
You know.
What's your approach to lyric writing then?
Mine.
Yeah.
Just whatever comes to mind.
Do you write lyrics almost like poetry, or are you always writing lyrics to music that's already been written?
I write to music which is written. So how that'll work is Davey and the guys will write some music, write a track, and then we'll record it, and then it comes to me, and I just sit and I have a coffee, and I pet the cat, and I pen away. As boring as it sounds, you know what I mean, like an old fart sitting in the chair, just fucking, you know.
And do you have like a 3 or 4 attempts at it? Do you go, I think it's done, I'm not sure. Then you'll go back to it and rewrite it, or
some are just fucking horrible messes. Like I write some lyrics, I'm like, God, that is so bad. It's like Milli Vanilli kind of shit, terrible, terrible fucking lyrics. You know what I mean? Like I throw it in the bin. And I have to really like work hard to try and get it like moderately okay, like passable.
Yeah.
But I enjoy it.
Yeah,
I enjoy writing. You know, I write poetry at home as well.
I've
got like a poetry book, but it's not really stuff which would make the Hellion Rising.
You never know. One day,
maybe
do
a spoken word.